Yes, back with another Coil's Couch or Corner, episode number 11. Plenty to talk about. Ronaldo. Was Ronaldo wrong? Got to talk about Ten Hag and Manchester United's developments in Italy, not in the World Cup, but relegating England in the Nations League. Nice. But yeah, some first that I've seen on Twitter. Who was better, Pete David Beckham or Pete Giggs? Just cognizant that we're on episode number 11, and in my mind, when I think of number 11, I think of Ryan Giggs. Dominated the left flank for over 2 decades. Who are you taking at the prime? Not whole career. Pete Becks, Pete Giggs.
It's a difficult one, this, because it's always going to be deemed as being subjective. When it comes to Beckham and Giggs, Giggs was probably one of the first footballers that, when I was playing as a youngster, I tried to emulate. He was quick, he used his left foot a lot, got me using my left foot, although I was predominantly right-footed. And I remember watching his videos, the Giggs skills and how he did things, and I just thought he was incredible. The goal he scored, obviously, against Arsenal, is arguably one of the greatest, Manchester United goals of all time. 10 men down, the emotion behind it. But, so if I looked at it from a head point of view, and obviously all the trophies that Giggs has won, I'm probably going to go with Ryan Giggs. I loved his goal against Spurs, but to be honest, if I'm going to make this decision as a fan with my heart, I'm probably going to say David Becks, because I just love Becks. I've always loved him. And one thing that I loved about David Beckham, I always felt that he gave me 110% in everything that he did in relation to football. And I think he's still doing that now. So as a person and as a player, if I had to pick one of each, I'm probably going to go David Beckham. Not the fact that he just gave me 110%, always kept the team well balanced, always tracked back, did everything that you want, but he could put in unbelievable delivery, great passer of the football, and what a free kick taker.
So when I looked at the midfield at the time, Beckham, Giggs, Keane, Scholes, it felt like a perfect balance and one of the best 4-man midfields.
Agreed.
I've seen. Obviously, Beckham, he handled his game differently to Giggs. Giggs was the guy that was going to penetrate, that was going to dribble, run at you. Beckham used his relationships with Gary Neville, the overlaps. Give me half a yard. Don't even give me half a yard. I'm taking half a yard. I'm moving the ball away from you, and I'm finding a cross that is just threatening. It's almost like he invented the corridor of uncertainty, the way he used to play the ball in between the keeper and the defender, just begging for any forward with any type of movement to get in on the end of it. So there were different players. My opinion to it is that when we saw Giggs bursting onto the scene, I believe he won 2 PFA Young Player of the Years, explode onto the scene. During his peak years, though, to a lot of injuries. And, I remember recall at 27, considering his retiring from football because of the injuries he was getting with his hamstrings, and also watching him. For a guy that has so much creativity, he seemed to be a bit stagnated. Like he was one of these dribblers that he just kind of went with the flow, and then adapted to the situation, as opposed to initiate a trick to off-balance somebody. It was more about, I'll go left, or off-balance you, I'll try and go right. It wasn't like a real bit of a little bit of maneuvering with the ball to set something up, or even a lollipop or something like that. And it just looked like he stagnated with what he was actually trying to do, in terms of his distribution. Whereas Becks, if we think about prime Becks, we're looking at 99. After the World Cup in 98.
If you're looking at prime Becks, though, you've got to be looking at prime Giggs. And what you're talking about with Giggs right now isn't prime Giggs. It's Giggs who's, like you say,
Pete Giggs.
Yeah. So for me, I never thought Pete Giggs was. It basically boils down to this: who do you prefer? Do you prefer somebody who can get the ball, dribble, or do you prefer somebody who's going to run hard and cover all the spaces forward and backwards, and is great in terms of creating chances? who would you say is more likely to give you a goal or more creative? I just think for me, David Beckham, you could put him in that team. He's going to do his defensive duties. He's going to do his attacking duties, and he's going to give you 110%. And I don't think you can ever say that he wasn't 110% committed to Manchester United. He played as a fan would want to play. He ran like a fan would want you to run. And I think with Ryan Giggs, fantastic player. And it's no disrespect to Giggsy, because I loved him as a footballer. And I think during his peak, he used to frighten defenders because there wasn't many left wingers that used to run at players. I mean, we had Kanchelskis on the right hand side before Becks got established on that side, and he used to run at players. And at Man United, as a Man United fan, or what I thought we wanted was them type of wingers that would be attacking. Your George Best, the people who'd run at players, and Giggs did get a lot of comparisons with George Best, which in itself is just tremendous. And he's probably the most decorated Premiership player of all time. But for me, in the peak, and if I had to choose one for my team, I think David Beckham. And like I say, it's subjective. Not a lot of people are going to agree with me, but that's just what I personally think.
Peak of both of these players, we're looking around 99 in terms of. But really, when I look at it, Giggs almost peaked when he came out of football. As a youngster, he was one of the dominating players in the team, and even later on as a veteran, the way he redefined his game, reshaped his game, he was an excellent professional, what he was distributing. But in terms of Beckham in 99, here's a guy that has obviously just been sent off against Argentina. He's got all the media, the effigies of him being hung outside pubs and all that he had to deal with. And he was sublime. The crosses against Inter Milan, was it to Dwight York? Big game there. His set pieces in the final. He finished second in the Ballon d'Or that year, or the World Player of the Year. Couldn't be much in it for him winning it because he was so influential. But of course, Giggs had that moment where he came off the bench, and I do think that's probably the greatest goal I've seen in my lifetime, really. That knitted the whole treble together. The fact that Keane's been sent off, we've just lost the penalty, we're on for the treble. Arsenal, the first game, there was that disallowed goal.
It was just a great game. It had everything, that game. It had a sending off, it had a penalty.
The goal, the way he ran at that defense.
And he did it. He scored a similar goal against Juventus for United. And that was part of Giggs' makeup, and it was a fantastic goal. There's no doubt about it. But I just think the greatest goal that I've ever seen, I think it'd be hard to look past Maradona's goal against England. I mean, that was just outrageous in 86.
Absolutely, but I was 5, so it's just a little bit before my time. But in terms of like what I've seen, going for the treble.
Yeah, it was massive.
The fact that Schmeichel never saved penalties, and he's there saving a big penalty from Bergkamp. The Keane sending off, and every time you go down to 10 men, it's like an excuse. Oh well, the game's gone now. And the team almost.
It was a huge goal, wasn't it?
Fold, fantastic goal. But no, I mean, so you're in agreement with me with that at least at the prime. I mean, if I was going for an all-time United 11, I would have, or Giggs would be more in consideration than Beckham for everything he's done, his longevity, the fact he's held down that left flank for almost 2 decades. Whereas Becks is competing with the likes of Ronaldo and George Best, in terms of like what they managed to bring to the table. But if we were just going to say who's better, prime or peak Beckham against peak Giggs, especially around that 99 time, even though Giggs delivered some of the best memories that we're ever going to have, for Beckham's consistency and just the work ethic. And there is one more thing I've got to say on that. I remember, when Sir Alex Fergie kicked the boot at Becks?
Yeah.
Right. If you watch that back against Arsenal in the Cup, in the first half, Becks plays an outrageous Pirlo pass, right, for 70 yards and unlocks the game. Giggs misses an open net. At the time, I thought, that weren't Ruud van Nistelrooy, was it? You're just watching from the stand, you're like, what's happened there? And you go in at half time, it's on his right foot, he's on the edge of the area, it's an open goal, and he's kicked it over. And I just think, well, why don't you just pass it? Why didn't you pass that in? I couldn't understand how he struck it over. For Fergie to go in at half time and kick a boot at Becks and get on Becks's grill because he wasn't happy with I think it was at full time because he wasn't happy that he'd let one of the players go. But Becks, it's in that game, he's unlocked the team with an outrageous pass, and Giggs has fluffed an open net. Yet that was the end of Becks's career, really, wasn't it? From that game, the kicking the boot at his head, well, I mean, the butterfly stitches, the hair going back.
I mean, when you talk, when people talk about David Beckham, I mean, I think he was consistent at United, but my personal take is he's been great wherever he's been. I mean, he went to Real Madrid. I thought he was class there for them.
He showed himself, didn't he?
He said, yeah, it's a team full of Galacticos. Even Capello, and we know firsthand he's one of the harshest managers around, but he's a great manager. And at the end
he throws him out. He throws him out, Capello,
but he had
to go back to him because he works hard and he puts in quality.
He could see what he was doing in training, and he's like, do you know what? We could use this guy. And then he delivered. And Capello just said his professionalism and his work rate. He said, I couldn't ignore it. Beckham was that professional, you just couldn't ignore him. But not only that, he went to Milan. I thought he did well there. He had a cameo spell there. PSG, I thought he was excellent there. I think he did well in America.
He did.
I mean, people say this.
He was still scoring his free kicks. He was still putting in quality, and like you say, he's still chasing down his opponents. You could see it for England as well at times.
Even when he came back to United and played in I think it was a charity match at the age of 41, he still looked like he could play. He was incredible. I mean, for me, I think his consistency, the fact that he's always kept himself fit as well. I mean, obviously, peak Becks, peak Giggs here. It's subjective. It's everyone's going to have different opinions on it. But for me, for the reasons that I stated, I'm going to go with Becks on this.
What an incredible ambassador for English football.
Do you know what? I don't think he gets the credit for his passing ability. I think he was one of the best passers of football that I've seen. I think he obviously could have been better with his left foot, but I thought with his right foot especially, I mean, he was as good as anybody.
I remember
I remember at Real Madrid, some of the balls that he used to play to R9.
And when he went away, he showed his quality by maintaining his excellent free kicks, his quality in passing. But I remember in '99, George Best was a pundit at the time on Sky, and they were asking him about Beckham going for World Player of the Year, and he was talking about how limited he was. Like, he couldn't really dribble, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. But for me, in terms of understanding his role and being effective to the team on the right hand side, the quality that he was bringing in there, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. From an Italian point of view. Have you ever seen a guy on the right hand side who's just going to put that level of consistent quality in and do all the tracking back, putting in a shift? There was times when I'm watching him for England.
Do you know what?
Where he's closing 4 or 5 guys down and instigating a press by himself.
Do you know what I'll say? And this is completely off the cuff. This has just hit me. But Trent Alexander has been getting a lot of stick recently. He's not making the England team. This, that, and the other about Liverpool. Liverpool are better without him. But so I've been watching him for that reason, because he's come under that much scrutiny, and there's so many decent right backs. It's a particular topic that I followed, because Wan-Bissaka for me is a great defender, but can't even get anywhere near the United team. So I've had a look at the right back situation carefully, and I've watched Trent Alexander and his actual creativity in his passing. And I tell you what, he is very, very. His passing is unbelievable, and he almost makes me feel that he could potentially have that Beckham consistency, that quality. I mean, the fact that he plays right back and he's been getting so much grief about it, why not play him further forward? Why don't you play Trent further forward on the right-hand side?
You're like bringing in Trent into our into the Becks debate. And do you know what? There is an element of that final ball and that consistency in the final ball.
I just thought, you just said, have you ever seen anyone? And he's the closest kind of thing that I've seen anyway.
Let's just hear something on the other side of like the optics though. Defensively, like Becks working back, putting in a shift. I watched Trent standing still and just turning his back, almost disinterested. Like, you're looking at him and he's just not engaged in the game. He's not looking at the game, and it's almost like, do you know what he's got with his hairdo? This is what he's got.
Come on, fella.
Sorry, see, he's got this. Wasn't me. I look right in your face. Wasn't me. Honestly, like, you watch the Napoli game when they got tore apart, and you're looking at his face, and it's not like, what's happened there? He's just looking away as if whatever you're going to say to him wasn't me. He's not partaking. He's not interested. He's not involved. He is disengaged with the defensive. In fact, he defensively, he doesn't do his service. Now, what was
from Beckham and Giggs? Listen, it's my fault. Listen. We've hit stormy water, and I've stayed
sure there's plenty of Liverpool fans that want to hear about Trent and love that you've put onto that. But what I'm saying is, right?
I just think he just doesn't get the respect he deserves. He's a great attacking footballer.
Absolutely, but
why does he have to be nailed back as a fullback?
Liverpool right now,
play him in a different position.
Liverpool right now, I think, are in eighth position. They're behind Fulham, and one of the key reasons for that is Trent's inability to defend.
Do you know what? Play Trent in Salah's position and play Salah central.
But let's do all that when Reece James has been delivering, hasn't he? He's looked very strong for Chelsea, particularly the new manager.
And I would, in terms of a right back, if I had to choose between the two, it'd be Reece James, because I think he does both sides very well. But I just think Trent going forward is that good. You know, this is a guy who can take free kicks as well. This guy has got the closest output. I mean, people will probably throw Maddison in that argument, and Ward-Prowse and them type of players, and Mason Mount, you know, has got that Beckham type quality. But I mean, obviously De Bruyne, you know, he's got that quality, but he's got it with both feet, and he's got a little bit of everything, a little bit extra. So that's why I've not said him. But I'm on about as a right-hand sided player who just plays on the right-hand side and can deliver that quality over and over again. I think Trent is your man.
I think if you're looking at Trent in a type of, if you had him
TTA,
if you had him either in a 5 or in a 3-5-2, I think his attributes look like they would suit wing back.
I'd agree with that
beautifully. However, he's in the situation that he's in with Liverpool, which is a system that initially was built around the fullbacks and the front three. They've changed the dynamic of the front three. They've had injuries, and right now it's all falling apart. And where it's been pointed at, because where teams like to attack Liverpool is down that left-hand side. We've seen Atletico do it. We've seen Napoli do it. We've seen lots of teams, especially when they're in the Champions League. That's who they're coming after. You know, for me, if I'm looking at fullbacks, I want my fullbacks to be able to defend properly. Now, there is a great benefit from having a good attacking fullback, but
Should we just wrap up the Becks Giggsy thing?
Yeah,
I'm gonna finish up on Becks. Giggsy was class, don't get me wrong, but for me personally, I'm gonna go with Becks for the consistent angle. I think he was consistent all his career.
Excellent. No, listen, I am too with Becks. So there seemed to be a massive wave of public opinion for Giggs, but for me, I'm more young Giggs, old Giggs, excellent. In the middle, didn't live up to the hype. And I want to say this on it: he never finished in the top 20 in any World Player nominations, Giggs. Whereas Becks, he got up there twice.
Listen, I don't want to what I don't want to do is I don't want to vote Becks to bring Giggs down. Giggs for me was absolutely phenomenal, and I think all his career. And what I loved about Giggs was, even though you say he might have been stagnated, I saw Giggs do what all great players can do. I saw Maldini do it. Players who just physically, their game is built on one.
Oh, he reinvented himself, didn't he?
On one thing. The way he reinvented himself, phenomenal. You know, picking out passes, using the vision. I mean, I remember being at Old Trafford and hearing other people talk about, Giggsy or Paul Scholes. I mean, and Giggsy, I used to sit there and, you know, I did defend him from time to time. Paul Scholes was someone I just would never let anybody say anything wrong, because anybody who talked trash about Paul Scholes, for me, they just didn't understand what he was doing.
Here's my point on Giggs anyway, is that I would have him in my all-time 11, probably in my all-time 11 United, and I probably wouldn't have Beckham, you know, and I think him, Beckham, Keane and Scholes was the most balanced midfield I think I've ever seen. That being said, if we're talking about who I would take at the peak and who performed better at the peak, I would have to go with David Beckham overall. So I'm in agreement with you. But I thought it was an interesting topic, and obviously Triple C number 11. Why not jump in with the guy that really redefined number 11 in our eyes?
Yeah, he's still when you talk about number 11s, it's Ryan Giggs straight to the top of the list, isn't
he? Yeah. So listen, segueing onto that to another big icon, actually, Ronaldo. I mean, for me, Ronnie, you were wrong. You know, Ronnie, you can't. I don't care who you are. You can't be claiming to be a part of a team, saying you won't go on the pitch, a la Tevez at City, and then walking off and getting off before the end of the game. For me, it's massively disappointing the way he's conducted himself since the beginning of the season, and his performances have not stacked up. Roy Keane was saying the other day that he's going to get you 1 and 2, 1 goal every 2 games, and overall that might be right. He's got 26 goals in 50 games since he's been at United, but he's only got 2 in 12 in this season. He got 24 and 38 last year, so he has started this season poor. He's not been up to his normal standard, and now he's putting a sulkathon on.
Well, I think if you don't have a pre-season, then
whose fault was that?
I think if you don't have a pre-season, then you're not going to be as sharp as the other players. I think it's easy at the end of the day to criticize somebody because they react in a certain way, but at the end of the day, when you are probably arguably one of the greatest players in the world, or one of the greatest players ever, and you've done what he's done and continues to do, don't forget last season, before all the issues during the summer, he was Man United's top goal scorer. If you needed a goal in a game, he was the guy who's going to pop up. Now,
although one of the worst United teams in the last decade.
Yeah, it could have been one of the worst United teams in the decade. Again, that's subjective.
Mm-hmm.
You could say loads of things. You could talk about Ralph. You could talk about Ralph.
Bench for a lot of
no, but you could talk about Ralph Rangnick.
The way Ronaldo's conducted himself is not.
How can you
acceptable.
perform? How can you perform in a team when you've got Ralph Rangnick there? I mean, he just completely down tools. He looked like he was on holiday.
No, I get that. Well, the players, there was people that already were going. They're looking at this guy. He weren't picking Pogba. Pogba was already out the door. For Champions League games, and the season was done as soon as that Champions League game went.
But in terms of Ronaldo, he's made a mistake, but he's been fined for it. You move on. I don't see what the big issue is.
Do you know what? I think it's good for United. It's good for United. Also, all this attention with Ronaldo, it's not good. But really,
do you know what I've seen other people do, and they've done it very well, is when United have had a little bit of an issue or a little bit of going through a poor form, or someone's made a mistake, is everybody, it's heightened more than at any other club. Everybody jumps on it. Everyone makes a big deal out of it.
Well, that's why it's an issue. That's why it's an issue with Ronaldo.
Hold on, Solskjaer, when he was under pressure, everybody came out. Oh, he should be sacked. He should go. He should this. He should that. Then you've had pundits. You've had people talking about Ronaldo. He should go. He should this. He should that. At the end of the day, right? Ronaldo had a decision to make when he left Juventus, and I'm pretty sure he could have gone to a few different places, but he chose to come back to Manchester United. Now he came back. Club's in disarray, trying to build its way back up to the Sir Alex Ferguson era. He's in that team that's clearly struggling, like you said, probably one of the worst. But he scored 25 goals in that team. Ten Hag's then come in. He's bought some great players, who I'm sure we'll discuss later on. And Ronaldo's thinking this season, I'm not in the Champions League and I'm disappointed about that, but we should be able to compete for something, for a trophy. That's all Ronaldo's interested about. He wants to be competing. He wants to be at the back, because in his eyes, his standards, he's not trying to be like the best bench player in the Premier. He's still trying to be the best player in the world. That's his mentality. That's his unique mentality that you get with being in that physical shape and being able to do it. I mean, he scored 700 goals. Just think about that for a second. 700 goals Ronaldo scored. And he's still fit. He can still score goals. Now, don't get me wrong. If Ten Hag wants to play a certain way and he wants to play Rashford or Martial up there, I've got no issues with that. But at the same time, I don't want to be slagging off Ronaldo because he's upset that he's not playing.
But ultimately,
he's been fine. That's it. Let's move on.
If Ronaldo passes wind, it's getting talked about. If United pass wind, it's getting talked about. Let's just have a quick look at Ronaldo. Here's a guy, when he's young, no matter what he was up to, because there was potential of star quality, you rode with it. Then at United, there was times where he weren't tracking back. He was being selfish, but he's putting up 42 goals in a season. So you just like his quality. You just gotta you deal with that. You accept it. Then he goes to Real Madrid, and his statistics are that unbelievable that he can do whatever he wants. And the same at Real Madrid last season. I thought he put in the performances on the pitch. He had a slump where he went maybe 10 games without a goal, but he also went on another 10-game run where all the goals were scored by Ronaldo. So for me, he'd done well. And I get why he was looking to move when he saw the lack of transfer activity. He's looking to say, do you know what? I've got 1-2 years left. Juventus were changing directions every 5 minutes. United don't know what they're doing. I can't afford my last 2 years to be in this debacle. So I get him saying, yeah, I want to go elsewhere here. I want to get off. But he's gone about it wrong. He should have sought out who might be interested, and maybe no one was interested, and that's why he needed to go public, because there was a lack of interest. But he then didn't turn up to pre-season training. We don't know why. Yeah, and he's turned up and he's not been delivering the performance because there has been opportunity with Martial being injured, with Rashford being in and out of the team. Ronaldo has had opportunity and he's not really been delivering to the level of Ronaldo last season. Now, with that goal that he scored at Everton with the Casemiro assist, for me, there is signs of a return. There's no reason to not want to include him, to not want him going forward. All I'm saying at this juncture is Ronaldo, you're a massive figure. You're one of the biggest figures in sports history. Yeah, the way you conduct yourself is important. I suggest you turn on the TV, you watch a bit of LeBron James of how you conduct yourself. Leaving early is just not the way. Put your head down, put a shift in, and then when there's an opportunity, leave the club.
So basically, you're saying that you want Ronaldo out.
It's not that I want Ronaldo out. It's that, listen, if you're going to be an issue, what this has done, why it's good for United is because now United's antennas are up. We need a striker as a priority one, because one of our key guys, our marquee guys, just doesn't want to be here. So now there's an accelerated rush to get to changing.
Well, this is where my frustrations come in. I keep hearing everyone saying, "Oh, Ronaldo doesn't want to be at United. Ronaldo wants to leave United. This, that, and the other." But people trying to pour negativity around Ronaldo, and for me, it just goes back to what I say earlier. People try and pour negativity around Manchester United whenever they can, because let's face it, United have dominated football for the best part of 2 decades, right, under Sir Alex Ferguson, and every single team love something's better. Okay. And basically what they wanted to do is they just wanted to see United fail.
Absolutely.
They wanted to see him. They wanted him to see badly. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came back in, the feel-good factor did come back to Man United. We started playing better football. We started, even though we were winning from away, we were starting to get these away victories and records and all the rest of it. And for me, there was a feel-good factor. The one thing that I saw under Solskjaer is that he didn't have the tactical nous to win the very biggest games, although you could argue that the PSG game was a big game, etc.
He's had a couple of City aways, but
having said that, I
agree though. Ultimately,
so having said that, as soon as Solskjaer took a dip for the worse, people forgot about the good things that we did.
Was that still on Ronaldo or see?
No, hold on, but I'm just talking about Solskjaer. So people, just all this negativity came, and at the end of the day, the end was near. All the pressure that was put on Solskjaer from the media just meant that he was gonna fail. Now Ronaldo came back. There was a massive feel-good factor from the entire world of Manchester United Football Club when Ronaldo came back, and the fact that he's come back to United and delivered in a crap team. We don't know exactly what's gone on during the summer. All what I know is he's not had a pre-season, and what everyone else has said in the media, I don't believe half of the stuff, to be honest. So he's come back. In the games that he's played, he's done okay. He's not lit the world on fire and stuff, but you can still see that he's physically fit.
What's he on, $500,000 a week?
Yeah, he is. But if people are saying to me,
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Hold on a second. But if people are saying to me, "Oh, Ronaldo can't play Ten Hag system, so he can't press. He's not got legs, this, that, and the other." People are saying that, and that's why they want him out, or that's why he's on the bench, or he can't play Ten Hag system, right? If people are telling that to me, including Gary Neville that I heard on Sky Sports saying, "Oh, he just plays in the box, he can't play that system." If that's what you're trying to say to me, and that's the reason that Ronaldo should be moved on, because because of his age, he's not good enough anymore, and therefore he needs to leave. That's one thing, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that neither. I think Ronaldo. being as good as he is, he scored 700 goals. I think being as good as he is, he can adapt to Ten Hag's system, right? He can definitely adapt. Now, so what you've got to say is, you've got Martial, you've got Rashford, you've got Ronaldo. If you need a goal in a game, are you a better team with Cristiano Ronaldo in it? And the answer for me is yes. Now, loads of people, because he's on 500,000 or this, all the money, all the big hype, everything, all that to me just gets put to one side. If United are playing in a game of football and you need a goal, we need a natural striker, you've got Ronaldo there. Why get rid of him if he wants to be there? Now, the only reason why you would let Ronaldo move on or let him leave is if he doesn't want to be there. Now, that's what we've heard all summer. So everybody's like, yeah, well, he should go then if he wants to leave. But I've not heard Ronaldo say I want to leave United. So until I hear Ronaldo say I want to leave United, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and he should be part of the squad. Whether he makes it in the first team or not is down to him. But against Manchester City, we got absolutely crucified. Forget the scoreline. The 6-3 was flattering. It could have been 10-0 that. The fact that he wasn't even looking at Ronaldo, or giving him an opportunity, you just have to think that there's something a little bit more to this than what we're seeing. And because we don't know the full story, we don't have all the facts, we just have to stay a little bit impartial on it. And that's why I don't want to say I want Ronaldo out.
Do you know what? I think United right now are the perfect team for Ronaldo, in my opinion. And this is why, because we have now, look, he's got Diogo Dalot on the right hand side, you've got Bruno Fernandes, he's got Casemiro in there, he's got Varane. He started to get some players that he's got rapport, relationships with, that he can operate with. There's that. Then United now look like we're going to be in a good position where we're going to create a lot of opportunities because we've got a Ten Hag system and attacking, and this will cater to Ronaldo as well. I just think it's been unfortunate, the fact that Ronaldo felt like he was in a position where I need to move on for the betterment of my career. And because of his high salary, there wasn't a lot of takers, and he finds himself a bit stuck there. Now, because he didn't turn... We don't know.
I don't agree with what you're saying.
We don't know.
I don't agree with that. I don't think... No, because I don't think that there was no takers. I think he had options.
Yeah, in Saudi Arabia and Miami.
No. Hold on.
Bayern didn't want him.
Who's confirmed all this? What you're doing now is you're just falling into the trap that all the fans do. They read all these different media outlets and they're like, oh yeah,
it doesn't come from nowhere. Come from nowhere.
I'm telling you now, Cristiano Ronaldo has had offers to leave Manchester United. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of it because I'm not
Saudi
privy.
Arabia. Well, I do.
I'm not
from
privy.
Saudi Arabia.
No, you don't. And we're not privy to all the facts. But what I can tell you is he had options and United have not let him go. And it could have been a commercial decision. Knowing United, knowing what's happened in the past, it probably was a commercial decision. Look how many shirt sales that he makes. Look at all the kids that he inspires. You've got kids. You've got kids in other academies. Okay. Have a guess what celebration they're doing?
Yeah,
they're doing the Ronaldo C.
Great, and he does have that cultural influence, and he is one of the biggest sports stars of all time, right?
Why can't we be positive as United fans surrounding Ronaldo?
But
I just don't get the negativity for the guy.
What negativity am I bringing?
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying fans in general. You could hear it yesterday on Sky Sports after the Chelsea game. Gary Neville, Jimmy Floyd, Hasselbank. I mean, Roy Keane's got his opinions on it.
Hold on. Why are we reacting to Ronaldo though? We're reacting to Ronaldo because
he was upset because he didn't play.
No, because the manager said.
Hold on a second. What are you like when you're on the bench?
Listen, when the manager said to him, said to him, "Come on the pitch," and he said no, and then walked down the tunnel. There's already been this pre-season where he walks off, and then a few other players walked off, and the managers there tried to protect Ronaldo and said, no, it wasn't just Ronaldo, it was a few players, and we can't have that in our team. Also, whenever, like I said, if he passes wind, the cameras are going to pick up on it. He knows exactly what he's doing. United are all in the media. He's all in the media, and he's making this public statement. For me, selfishness. He's made a mistake, which, like I said, though, I think this is positive because he has to try and keep up his own form for the World Cup. So for me, he needs to put his hard hat on, be professional like he's been for the last couple of decades, understand what a team concept is, because he isn't at that level, right, where he doesn't have to work hard.
I don't agree.
Wait. Well, let me finish my piece. He's not at the level that he once was, where he doesn't have to work hard, where he doesn't have to deliver. If you're on the pitch now, it's not just about shirt sales. You have to be contributing, and he's not done it enough enough where he warrants to play.
He scores one in he scores one in every two.
2 in 12 this season so far.
Doesn't matter. He scores one in two.
Listen, he's not turned up to pre-season, and that was on him. Now here's a guy that.
Yeah, but do you know why it was on him?
No, but
right, exactly. So you don't know what's going on behind the circumstances.
But his partner, we know that his partner lost a baby. He missed one game and he turned up the next game. So as emotional as it was, one of the hardest things he might go through, he then turns up the week after. But for whatever reason in pre-season, he couldn't turn up for all pre-season and then tells United,
JJ,
wait. He tells United after, I can't turn up for pre-season, he tells them, I want out. That's what we know he's done.
Right. When you lose,
and he's turned up and he's not been scoring goals.
Let me tell you something now.
2 in 12.
When you lose a baby, or you lose something, or something significant happens in your personal life, right, for whatever reason, right, it can affect you. It can affect you as a human being. It can affect you as an athlete. Now, because Ronaldo always looks in tip-top condition physically, he always looks ready to play football. You see him in the gym, you see this, that, and the other. He's got first of all, he's got 491 million Instagram followers. This guy doesn't have to throw his arms up. This guy doesn't have to steam down the tunnel to get attention. The attention's there. That's one of the things with Ronaldo. Ronaldo's box office, on or off the pitch, it doesn't matter. So, but for himself, his motivation, he just wants to play for Manchester United, do his very best, and he wants the team to do well. Now, when the team's doing well, it reflects well on Ronaldo, but he has got his own personal things that he wants to do. Does it make him a selfish player? Does it make him not a team player? No, I don't agree with that. I think he's helped Anthony settle into the club. He's been incredible. I think he's also had a big influence on the other players around there. Obviously, Rashford, he's helped him out, Sancho, and these type of players. Bruno, I mean, people say, one of the arguments and one of the reasons why I think Ronaldo does get so much criticism is because now they're saying that Bruno's numbers, or Bruno's not playing as well when Ronaldo's not in the team. Now, if someone could guarantee me that if Ronaldo was to leave the club, Bruno would be back to his absolute sparkling best and getting the numbers that he was before Ronaldo joined, I understand that argument, and I understand why people would be like, yeah, maybe he should go. But for me, I just think if Ronaldo is on song and the team is on song, playing the way that they did against Spurs, he's going to be having a field day, and he's going to score you goals.
So the way I'm seeing it right now,
guaranteed goal scorer.
When we signed Ronaldo, overall, it's been a negative for United overall. And the reason I say that is if we didn't sign Ronaldo, we would have still had Cavani wanting to play last season. And what you've got with Cavani when he was turning up, when he was a part of it, and you're not taking his shirt number off him, is a guy that will do everything for the team. Now, I know there's elements of selfishness, of what it takes to be an elite goal scorer and single-mindedness. And like I say, he's one of the best executors in front of goal that the world's ever seen, one of the best goal scorers. But for me, importantly, he's not been a part of the whole United concept since he has to leave at the beginning of the season. Now, Ten Hag's given him a way back in because Martial's been injured, because Rashford's not been playing all the time. There has been ways back in. And for me, all I want to see out of Ronaldo right now, all I'm looking for is for him to work hard. I don't care if he throws his arms up here or there. If he misses a chance, I want him to be upset. But I want him to see him work hard. I want him to see him accept the manager's decisions. And I wanted to see him deliver some level of Cristiano Ronaldo performance. And I've only got a little glimpse of that against Everton. Yeah, where he delivered that. He scored a penalty. But the Everton goal, I thought was excellent. Taking it early, left foot, beautiful.
The thing
we just need to see more of that. And he just needs to, behave, be a team player.
I think you, like a lot of Man United fans, what they expect from Ronaldo, it's not what they're prepared to settle for or what they're prepared to take. United fans, at the end of the day, their expectations of Ronaldo are through the roof. And do you know why? Because Ronaldo's expectations of himself are through the roof. And what you've got with Ronaldo, people expect a goal a game. If someone says to me, oh, keep Ronaldo because he's one in two, even though that there is stats right now for United, I expect Ronaldo, every game he plays, to score. That's me. And if that's what I think as a fan, what are all the other United fans thinking?
He scored one goal in open play in the last 12 games. So he's forget this one goal in 2 games. He's not been delivering.
How many games has he started out of them 12 games?
Well, that's reasonable, but he's had his fair. He's had his fair quote.
How many games has he started out of them 12?
In the Europa League, see where every person was bending over backwards.
Oh, listen, the game against the Omnia, right? United
Ammonia,
won
is it?
ammonia.
Yeah.
United had squandered loads of chances.
Ronaldo squandered loads of chances.
Right, Ronaldo missed a hatful of chances, but United still won the game.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think, and it's just my opinion, that we're a better team when Ronaldo's in the squad.
Well,
that's what I think.
Well, I mean, ultimately,
I don't like the negativity surrounding him. I don't think he warrants it from United fans.
Well, listen, if you don't turn up, if the manager asks you to come on the pitch and you don't go on the pitch, and then you walk off early, you deserve criticism. And you deserve.
He's had his fine, hasn't he? And he's been banished from the training team.
Yes, but don't say, oh well, you shouldn't be criticised. Yeah, you should be criticised for that. Especially when all eyes are on him anyway. What we're supposed to look at it and just pass it off? How is Ten Hag supposed to set a foundation if people are not following basic rules?
I'm not saying he can't be criticised, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't be negative on him. But what I am saying, for a moment, what I am saying is, why are we keeping this? It's continuous negativity surrounding Ronaldo, and I don't like it. He's been absolutely incredible for us, and he's been incredible all his career. I don't like the negativity surrounding him. Let's stop the speculation. Oh, Ronaldo should leave. Ronaldo this, that, and the other. Let's just enjoy him while he's here. We were all singing for years. Bring him back from Spain, put him on a plane. Well, he's here. Let's enjoy him. Let's enjoy this player who's arguably, he's going to inspire generations of people.
For us to enjoy him, he has to help. He has to produce. Anyway, what I wanted to say.
He's a human being, Jack. He's made a mistake. Okay,
listen, if you want to pass over this and just let me finish my piece, and we'll just draw a line under it. We know what you are. You've got your Ronaldo pom poms on at the moment, and look, fair play. Like I said, I know he's got. I'm judging him by what he's doing. He's not doing enough at the moment, and I'm not happy with his conduct, his recent conduct. Now, I think it's a good thing for United overall, because if he does want a way out, he needs to do something. He's got.
Can I just?
No. Shut up. You've had enough on Ronaldo. You want to draw a line on it? That's it, right? Ronaldo. I think it's a good thing for United, this situation, because Ronaldo's got to the World Cup, and he now knows where he's at. He's just a player. You're just a player. You're not Cristiano Ronaldo. You're just a player. If you want to be in the team, you have to be a player that fits into the team concept. He knows exactly what he has to do, and I expect Ronaldo to be at his very best from now to the end of the season if he gets another opportunity. From United's point of view, because of this situation, they have to look at replacing Ronaldo as a priority one with a top signing. You've got Martial's just not been fit enough, and that has caused us more difficulties because we're right up front. That's why, segueing into Chelsea, that's why we didn't beat Chelsea, and that's why we've not been scoring a plethora of goals, but the team does look good, doesn't it? Let's come away from the whole Ronaldo thing, step your game up. I'm sure it's going to be all right from now. He will contribute again. He is class, but he can't be walking off and saying I'm not going to play.
I've got a final thing on Ronaldo.
Go on then, fella.
Right, do you know what I love when I'm watching the football? I love it when he comes over and hugs all the old pros. Just love it. I mean, you wouldn't get that, if he wasn't back. And do you know what? I just like having him around. I don't care. I don't even mind him sulking. I just love Ronaldo. For me, though, watching what Roberto Baggio went through with Milan, on and off the bench for 4 or 5 different coaches. It's horrible.
And then watching him at Inter Milan, the way Lippi treated him, right? And this guy, no matter what situation, you brought him on out of the cold, didn't spit his dummy out. He made his points here and there, but he always came out on the pitch. And it was separated what the coach thinks, what the people think to the football. When I'm on the pitch and there's a football, I'm here for the fans and for the game. Do you know what I mean? It was just that journey.
I know where you're coming from, but Baggio is a different human being than Ronaldo.
I'm not coming on the pitch.
No, disgusting. I think he's made a mistake. I think he's hurt. I think he's upset because he still feels that he can contribute to Manchester United. And do you know what? I've not got a problem with that. But you know what,
also? He's not 19. He's 37 years old.
Yeah, listen, these things happen.
At the end of the day, you're a veteran of the team. So now you've got a chance to absorb it, understand your impact, and think, you know what? I'm just going to smile for the cameras.
Listen, Eric Cantona Kung Fu kicked a fan.
The fan was being racist.
But he Kung Fu kicked a fan.
Yeah. And what?
And what do you mean? What? So Ronaldo walking off down the tunnel a couple of minutes earlier when the game's done is as bad as Cantona kicking a fan.
Do you know what? Becks was the craziest, right? Because Becks is on the floor and he's put He's put his foot up a little tiny bit, and he's given him a little tooth fairy
Listen,
tickle.
I couldn't understand why people were burning it. I really couldn't. He was awesome for England. His free kick against Colombia.
He gave a tooth fairy tickle to the calf of Diego Simeone, and Diego Simeone goes down.
He's been doing that.
And that is a signature moment of his career where he's been sent off and he's been vilified for doing something drastically wrong, for not reading the room. Cantona, who had a Zidane temperament. He was stomping on people at times. He'd stomped on someone that game. He had violence in him. Absolutely. But as far as United are concerned, he never treated United directly with anything but utmost professionalism and quality. In that instance, Cantona absolutely blew up, and indirectly it massively impacted United, but he paid them back.
I think Ronaldo's been professional.
Ronaldo is not in the same league as Cantona when it comes to contributions to Manchester United. That's how I feel in the 7 and all that stuff. I think, do you know what? He is one of the all-times, but Cantona stands on top of that podium. And I wanted to see Ronaldo return to United and take us to another title. And do you know what? He had shown quality, but it didn't work out. And maybe it's not even Ronaldo's fault. Maybe it's Solskjaer's fault, because for me, I looked at that defensive structure and I just thought, we can't keep clean sheets. We're not good enough at football. We're easy to play against, and he's joined this team thinking, we're second, I'm going to take us first. And that team wasn't good enough, was it?
Hold on a second. You come second in the league. You're miles away from City. You're miles away. And you're thinking to yourself, how can we catch them? You sign Sancho, right? Arguably one of the best wingers in world football.
He's been disappointing, hasn't he?
I like Sancho.
It's been disappointing. I
didn't give him the time of day when he first joined, because I just didn't think we needed a right winger. I thought we needed a CDM. But I love Sancho. I love what he stands for, and I think he's going to be a great player for us. No issues there whatsoever.
The way Sancho's playing,
we then signed Varane, a World Cup winner, a serial winner wherever he's been, absolute class in a glass. Now, don't get me wrong, already he's got off to the wrong foot in terms of injuries, but when he does play, fantastic. Right? So you sign Varane, you sign Sancho, and then you go out and you sign not only somebody with Ronaldo's stats, but you sign somebody who has just got a massive affiliation for the club and a massive love for the club. And you know what? It's reciprocated by the fans, and he comes back. I'll be honest with you, I was dreaming that United are going to be challenging for a title. And next meeting, we've got Ragnick at the wheel.
Right,
saying that it's open heart surgery. So Ronaldo has gone through his difficulties, but I still think he's got something left to offer.
You kept telling me to stop talking about Pogba. I'm gonna have to tell you to stop talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, because he's not worth it. He's not worth our 2 minutes. In fact, we should suspend him for the weekend, like United suspend him against Chelsea. Let's first of all, you wanted to talk about midfielders. Let's jump into that quickly. What midfielders are you talking about?
The best 3 midfielders in the Prem right now. I think everybody likes. I think there's a lot of quality midfielders at the moment.
Well, hold on, it's got to be out the big 7, hasn't it? So the big 7 are Arsenal, City, Tottenham, Newcastle, Chelsea, United, or Liverpool. It's not going to come from another team, is it?
I don't necessarily think that it has to be from the big 7.
You top 3 then.
But the likelihood is they will be from the top 7.
Right, go on then.
I've got Kevin De Bruyne in there as number 1. I think for me, Kevin, he really is remarkable. He's got everything. He can play. He can pretty much play anywhere on the park. He's just let me give incredible footballer.
Let me give you a critical point of view on Kevin De Bruyne. First of all, I do think he's excellent, but City have won titles whenever he's injured. He's been injured. City win titles. Even at Belgium, he's. There's a bit of Stevie Gerrard about him, where he's a match winner and he's a game winner, but. The team's so good, they play whenever he's not playing, they look to do just as good without him, and they've won plenty without him. And in the Champions League, he's gone missing a couple of times. World Cup in Moscow, Hazard was delivering against, was it France that knocked Belgium out? I think it was France, yeah. Hazard was delivering, De Bruyne was missing. So all I'm saying is that
I don't think De Bruyne.
I'm happy with him.
I don't think De Bruyne has ever gone missing in a game of football.
Well, Belgium versus France, he went missing.
What you're looking for,
and Real Madrid, he was disappointing.
What you're looking for is him to score the winner or something like that. I'm not on about that. When I'm on about the best midfielder right now in the Premier League, I'm going to say that it's Kevin De Bruyne because he's got everything.
I'm happy.
He's got everything you want from a midfielder.
I'm happy for De Bruyne to be in the conversation. All I'm saying is that in big games he's gone missing.
I don't agree with you.
Well, do you know what?
Do you know what? I bet a lot of people don't agree with you as well.
If your level's up here, yeah, and in the big games it drops, then that's
his
where
level doesn't drop. His levels don't drop in the big games.
Watch France against Belgium again in Moscow, and you'll see that Hazard was on fire, and De Bruyne just weren't putting in his normal.
Let's look at
Champions League last year.
Let's look at the last big game that he's just played in. What did he just do to United?
It wasn't a big game though.
Of course, it's a big game. It was a derby. Yeah, it was. And he absolutely.
Do you know what a big game is to me?
Do you know what they did? United was starting to build a bit of momentum, starting to get a feel-good factor, and City just ripped us apart and said, "You know what, guys? You're nowhere near us. You're nowhere near us."
Did they batter us last year?
De Bruyne was at the heart of it.
Did they batter us last year? They've been beating us badly, really, for a decade. And we've had a couple of wins, but not when it's counted.
De Bruyne, for me, number one.
All right, De Bruyne. Who else?
I've got to put Casemiro in there. Because what I've always rated him as a footballer, but I think at Madrid, I think the fact that he was playing in La Liga, it was only really the big Champions League games where I'd watch him for a full game, and obviously you had people like Luka Modric, who's just phenomenal alongside him, and Toni Kroos. So people didn't really see everything that Casemiro was doing in that type of team.
It's a valuable point you make there. Because he's with Toni Kroos and Modric, everyone's been like, oh, it's because he's got these two excellent players with him. Not seeing the importance of Casemiro. Me watching big La Liga games and watching Champions League, for me, he has been the de facto best midfielder for the past 2 decades alongside N'Golo Kante. You know, obviously Kante, we've not really seen much of him in the last year or so, but man of the match in a lot of the finale of the Champions League when Chelsea won it still. Missing in the Euros. We saw how great he was in the World Cup. I think Kante's up there. I think Casemiro has kept Fernandinho out of the Brazilian team and for the last decade, and Fernandinho's arguably been Manchester City's most important player in that period. So for me, I just co-sign you, Casemiro. I've got absolutely nothing critical to say except for everybody that doubted that this guy isn't world class. Just, it's one of them all. They play in a Farmers League. It's having this off opinion without any knowledge, without any substance. Casemiro has proven to himself to be world class as a fundamental part of, as a key area. And straight away, we were missing a DM. I was screaming for a DM, and we got one of the best in. So I'm absolutely with Casemiro, and he's already shown it.
I think then,
what a header against Chelsea, by the way.
I think then after them two, I think there's a number of players that could almost force their way into the top 3, but for me, they just haven't done enough yet for me to say yeah. And you've got guys like Foden, Bruno Fernandes.
More attackers. Midfielders, I want to see everything, and that's what De Bruyne does give. To be fair.
I was thinking long and hard about Thiago at Liverpool because I love what he brings to the game. I think he's the type of guy that can control the game. However, Liverpool, I've gone through a bit of a bad spell. He has had a couple of injuries. Also, Kante, obviously when he's fit and he's on his day, he's one of the best, but he's not really been consistent in there. So my third pick.
Don't forget, there's the likes of Rodri gets the shouts. I mean, in Tottenham, although they lost, the last couple of games, they like to play Basuma, Bentancur. You've got, I'm trying to think who else they rock in the midfield.
I mean, it's a difficult one because you look at you say to yourself, is it centre midfield players or do you bring white? Or do you bring these wider players into the mix? You're talking
midfielders. For me, the Kante has already demonstrated his body of work. You've got Jorginho, you've got Kovacic. There's a lot there at Chelsea. Liverpool, Thiago Alcantara, first season, struggling badly. Second season, epic. Third season, not been available.
That's who my third pick was.
Thiago.
No, my third pick was, it's Fabinho.
Right. Well, you listen. Do you know what? I'm going to go back to that Napoli game and just say no.
And do you know why I'm going to say Fabinho? Because I just think that when
I'm bringing back Shaggy also. Can I bring back Shaggy?
You can bring back Shaggy.
Wasn't me. Fine. That's what Fabinho was like when the ball was going past him.
I just think that
I looked right in his face. I'm supposed to be a fool, right? Wasn't me. You're not
even letting me say. But I think Fabinho. I think when Liverpool have been at the best, he's been in there, and I think he's. I just love the way he plays football. I think he does everything really. He's almost like a Casemiro type player, and I just think them type of players. When you've got a team full of all attacking players, a bit like United, a bit like Liverpool, you need them type of players. The good thing about City is they've got players who can do the attacking job, but can also do the defensive job, and that's why people are so impressed with Pep Guardiola. That their players are so disciplined. Your Bernardo Silvas, your Phil Fodens, your Grealishes, your Kevin De Bruyne's, your Rodris. You can all be disciplined in these positions and go forward and attack. You know, you'd have to say that Mahrez arguably doesn't defend as much as he goes forward, and that's why he doesn't get the shouts. If we're talking about
midfielders, though, I mean, I'm going to
say yes. I'm going to go Kevin De Bruyne. I'm going to go Fabinho, and I'm going to go Casemiro. Not in that order. No, I'm going to go Casemiro second. I'm going to go Casemiro second. I'm going to go Fabinho third. But that third spot, there could have been maybe a choice of maybe eight. If Kante was fit, obviously.
After what I've seen from Fabinho this season, he'd be lucky to make top 10. I like you a lot of what you're saying here, to be honest. And
that makes a change.
Come on, fella. You know I appreciate your opinions.
Well,
that's how we're here, right? But for me, Kevin De Bruyne, like I said, he's not the Ballon d'Or. He's not the final jigsaw piece, but it could happen for him. He could well break open a lot of tournaments and have the final piece. Listen, Kevin De Bruyne,
not a big game plays.
No. He is. But listen, I'm talking about Champions League finals. I'm talking about World Cup semi-finals. There's games where he's gone missing. Real Madrid last year. Where was he? Yeah, where was he? Anyway,
what you talking about, Jack?
I've got Kevin De Bruyne. I'm going with Casemiro. Do you know what? Casemiro should be at the top of this list, and that's another thing I want to get into in a minute. But Casemiro, third, like you say, there's a little pool. The guys that I'm looking at, well, the guy that I'm going to give it to, I'm going to come straight out with. Dorbo Pepe Sheridan. I'm going to go with, first of all, Thomas Partey. Arsenal, top of the league.
Come on.
But I'm sorry to bang on that old drum. I'm banging on the old drum. It's been there for episodes for 2 decades.
You're saying Fabinho's not in your top 10, but you put Partey in there. Yeah. Partey's not in the top 10.
Okay, so Thomas Partey. I know you don't watch a lot of Arsenal games.
What do you mean, Thomas Partey? Of course we do.
No, Thomas Partey.
Top of the Football Fantasy League. Of course I'm watching these games.
What, Arsenal top of the league?
No, I said I'm top of the Football Fantasy League.
But did you say Arsenal top of the league?
Arsenal are top of the league.
Right, okay, and Thomas Partey.
Partey's got him there, has he? The big game player.
Partey has been there for every single game except for the Manchester United game.
Get on your bike and keep pedaling.
The one game they lost was when Partey wasn't there, and we just played right through the midfield.
Partey's decent, but he's not the third best midfielder in the Prem. I'm not having that.
That's what I've seen. Consistency. Also,
listen, I'll give you one who's better than that. Who plays for Arsenal? Odegaard.
No chance. Listen, the thing is with Odegaard is what you've got there is you've got an offensive player. What Partey's security, like Casemiro. It's a security policy.
No, he's a CDM. Box-to-box CDM. He scored a good goal, I'll give him that, but top 3, come on.
Look, if we want to talk about personalities and characters, he's not going to be in the top echelon. But if we're talking about influential midfielders, I mean, because this is a young Arsenal team, they've won or been unbeaten in every game that Partey has played in. The one game they lost, they were missing him in particular.
You're the only guy banging on this Thomas Partey drum.
Ultimately,
honestly,
hold on, I didn't even want to talk.
It's a soloist effort. This.
I didn't want to talk about Thomas Partey or Arsenal, right? But you were talking about who are the best midfielders. For me, I've got 1 Kevin De Bruyne, 2 Casemiro, 3 Thomas Partey. Then I'm looking at Thiago Alcantara. I'm also looking at Kante. I'm also looking at Jorginho, and I'm also looking at Kovacic.
I'm not looking at Jorginho in the Chelsea team. I'm looking at Jorginho playing for Italy, but I'm not looking at Jorginho in the I'm talking about Chelsea team.
In the midfield, if you give Jorginho the ball, listen, penalties is a different kettle of fish. If we're talking about who's good at penalties, I'm worried about him. I know he scored against United the other day, but I don't trust him, and he's cost us a place in the World Cup, and it almost cost us the European Cup final. I don't like his penalty as effective as it's been with 17 and 19. I don't like it. But in the midfield, if you give him the ball, you can trust him to distribute it safely and help the team up the pitch. Help the team move forward.
You can trust James Maddison.
Fabinho is not in that for me. Fred's not in that. McTominay's not in that. Eriksen has played a lot of that midfielder deeper role. He's been caught a couple of times, but when
if you're doing the top 10, he's in the top 10.
He's in the top 10. He has to be. And as a playmaker, for me, he's world class and he's one of the top 5 maybe. But if you're just talking about all-round midfielders, he can get caught sometimes, Eriksen. But I'd have him in the top 10, and I'd have him above Fabinho. I'd have all that Chelsea midfielders that we're talking about. Liverpool, I like Thiago Alcantara. City, in the middle, I'm looking at Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva, listen, this guy's the ultimate winner, isn't he?
Rodri, though, doesn't get enough credit for what he does. He's the one who keeps all that knitted nicely.
Right, but we've got our top 3 anyway. Are you disagreeing on that? Who have you got as number 3? Who's your third?
Fabinho. I mean, what's it called? If you said Kante or Thiago, I'd have no bones with that.
But not the guy who's led his team to the top of the league.
Because he's not led his team to the top of the league. That's just you jumping on the bandwagon. And you need to find some sort of evidence or stat that backs that up.
Right, let's talk about United signings then. How do we rate United signings? Let's go Malacia. Out of 10.
I'd say he's a solid 7.5.
I'm going to give him 9 out of 10. Wow, that's well generous. But listen to why, right? Because he was cheap. He was cheap, yeah. He's come in there. When he's played, he's looked good. He's also let a match up Shaw, and Shaw's been good. So it's helped Shaw. He's looked the real deal, and he was cheap. On all them fronts, I think it was a great move. A great move. That's why I'm going to give him a 9. Not just because, he's been 9 out of 10. Because he's not even established himself.
If you're giving him the transfer 9 out of 10, I'd agree with that.
No, I like that. Okay. Martinez. What we're giving that transfer?
To be honest, because of where we were as a team, I think he's been arguably one of the most influential signings that we've done.
It's a big signing too. How much would you rate? How much would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, I think the money, having seen him, I think it's probably good value for money. But
come on, OC, be generous. Triple C fella, what do you feel? Say it with your chest. I'll tell you where
I think he's up there with Malassimi. Do you know what? As an actual footballer, and the way my connection with Martinez as a fan, I'd probably arguably say 10 out of 10 because what he said the other day. No. Let me continue. What he said the other day was, when the fans sing Argentina, he said, I feel like crying.
Right.
Anybody who's got that kind of emotion. And the other day when he just went flying into the crowd head first, yeah.
So I'm going to give him a 10 too. The reason I'm going to give him a 10 is because we're looking at Harry Maguire on 80 million, can't run, got no pace. The fact
can we just leave Harry out of this?
No, the fact that he's 5'9" and he can't defend. The only 5'9" defenders. Well, in fact, two of my top 2 defenders of all time are Cannavaro and Brazy. They're both 5'9". So this nonsense of you need a certain height. For me, it doesn't come into.
You can understand the argument.
No, I can't.
If you're against the 6'5" Haaland, Erling Haaland, that's what people were saying.
No.
And Pep came out. Hold on, Pep came out and said we did target him because what had happened is both centre backs would be occupied by Haaland, which freed up Foden to get in and have all that space in front of the back four, which was true.
There's this narrative being pushed out there that the Premier League's a certain pace, a certain physicality, and a 5'9" guy can't come out there and play football. And just that whole concept notion has already been put to bed. It's complete nonsense. 59 million. We went in there, and what he's given us, apart from being good in defence and defending and with his shirt and quality on the ball, apart from giving us all that, it's extra fire, it's extra determination, it's leadership, it's passion, it's everything. He's infused something at United, intangible character qualities that you can't just pick up there, and he's a mainstay, fundamental, brilliant signing, and it looks like a good partnership with Varane if he can ever get a level of fitness together. Casemiro paid a bit of a fee. He's in his peak years. What are you thinking?
I mean, because of his age and because of the money that he's on and because of the length of the contract,
You can't go below 9, surely, because our squad had no CDM. We've both been screaming for a CDM.
Oh, it's just what we needed.
And we've just picked up the best CDM in world football, most decorated CDM in world football over the last decade, and we've put him in the team, and straight away we've seen it. And there are links there. You know, on FIFA when you build your teams, you've got little green. There's a little link with Varane. There's a link with Ronaldo. There's a link with Fred. You know what I mean? There's links everywhere, and he's that security policy we needed.
He strengthens the spine of your team.
I wanted Partey a couple of years ago. He's even better than Partey. Obviously, he's not younger. He's not going to be for the next decade. But right now, he's absolutely what we needed. You can't give him less than a 9. You know, maybe a 9.5. The point is, he's been great. In his short spell, he's shown, he's delivered the energy he's playing with, the efforts he's having.
I really like him. I mean, but again, because we're talking about the transfer, we're marking the transfer. I'm going to give the transfer a 7 out of 10.
7?
Just because I think we could have got him for less money.
Can I just say, hold on. We were going to get Rabiot.
I think we could have protected ourselves. Listen, forget Rabiot.
We could have got Rabiot.
I wasn't with that. I wasn't with it.
We're talking about Manchester United's transfer policy. We were looking at Rabiot one week. Next week, mate, the next week, we got Casemiro in. The next week, we got Casemiro in. We needed a CDM for 3-4 years, and our team were falling apart at the seams because we had no CDM.
I don't know if we've stumbled across Casemiro or whether he was our plan and everything else was just smoke screens. But at the end of the day,
we wanted De Jong.
He was perfect for us.
He's perfect for us. So how's that
Casemiro
7?
That's
not 7. We lost out on De Jong, and we were chasing.
How much money have we paid for him, though?
We were chasing our tail feathers, right?
We paid for Frankie De Jong 70 million £70 for him, though.
Yeah, but we were.
How can that be a 9 out of 10
because
transfer?
We were looking at. We chased
well over the odds
all season. We were looking for Frankie De Jong. We couldn't get him over the line, and we were looking at Rabiot down the barrel of a gun. Yeah, and all of a sudden, a magician has pulled out Casemiro out of his hat. That is not 7.
So he gets.
It's not a 7.
So you're saying that there's a genius in Manchester United's transfer policy that's brought.
Listen, I'm not saying it's not luck, but what do you know what it is?
Is this John Murtough we're talking
do you know what this is? This is backing the manager, because the whole and a bit of an infused injection. There's a bit of panicking. There was a bit of panicking when we looked at Rabiot and Arnautovic, and we didn't have the funds. But ultimately, we were trying to go with what the manager was suggesting, and we've backed the manager with his foot, and they put money in, didn't they? They made a little splash at the end, so they did put their hands in the pockets. But I'm just looking at the transfers. I didn't like the way the transfer window unfolded, but in the end, when you look at it, Casemiro has to be a 9. Malacia is a 9 in my opinion. Martinez is a 10. What about Eriksen? A 3.
Fantastic.
He's got to be a 9, hasn't he? You can't give him less than a 9.
I'm delighted with what United did in the transfer market. It's one of our best transfer windows ever.
He gives us that composure and that quality, that Scholes quality of deliverance. And there's a set piece taker in there that's elite, that's more trustworthy than Bruno, arguably. Then, you've got Anthony. What are you thinking of Anthony? Big money signing. A lot of pressure on him. Right now, I put him ahead of Sancho. I think he's doing better than Sancho. But it was worrying when he didn't finish that one on his right foot the other day. He don't cross it with his right foot. It is a bit worrying.
What I've seen from
when a player doesn't want to use the weak foot.
Anthony very rarely loses the ball.
He doesn't. No, he's good.
What he has got is that star quality. And considering
he's just worried about his weak foot?
No, considering he's just come to the club and he's had the impact that he's had while he's been here.
What about the goal against City?
You can see that he's. You can see that he's still growing and developing. Well, I just think that's a little snapshot cameo of what he's capable of.
That was like Roy of the Rovers stuff. When you score a 45-yarder, some South American comes
unfortunately,
a 45-yarder.
As great as it was nothing.
But
it was just a little moment in an absolute.
No, but it's a career goal, isn't it? Some people score them 40-yarders, and it's the best goal of the career.
Yeah.
And he just did it for fun, man. So I'm going to say, I mean, for me right now, I'm looking at the fee and all that stuff. To me, it's looking well, but I'm more, he's the one guy that might be an 8, an 8.5. Although I do like him and I do put him ahead of Sancho, there's more work in the bank. I can't see you not using your right foot, and when you do use it, being that poor. And
listen, Ajax have absolutely taken us to the cleaners on that one in terms of the price tag. However,
he's going to be a good player, isn't he?
In time to come, it'll still prove to be good business because, not to go off topic, but I heard the other day that from Haaland's agent that they believe that he's going to be the first player to be sold for $1 billion. And if that's where money's going, and he's going to be worth $1 billion, what's Anthony's price tag going to be in 5 years' time?
Yeah, well, we don't need to talk about inflation and things, but I mean, what ultimately what I'm getting at is, even though the transfer window was an absolute mess, in the end, the signings and backing the manager has proved fruitful, and I'm now looking at a top 4 finish. I think United have got the ingredients. We look like a team. We've beaten Liverpool, we've beaten Arsenal, we've beat Tottenham, and we've deserved to beat them all, in my opinion. And Chelsea the other day, we played the football away from home that you'd expect to. Yeah, we got battered against City, and we got a bit of a rude awakening there. But, you know, I think that they are the gold standard City. But again, looking at our structure, if Varane, Martinez and Casemiro's fit, we have got one of the best triangles now in the league.
Can we beat City at home?
Wait, that triangle there, Martinez, Varane, Casemiro, it's one of the best triangles in the league. It's better than City's. You look at City's defence, it's not at that level. Yeah, obviously their attack, everything else, okay, but I'm talking about that triangle.
Yeah, agreed.
Liverpool's triangle, well, there's all sorts of questions in that at the moment. Yeah, obviously Van Dijk looks incredible. Fabinho, you're part of the triangle. Listen, I don't know what Fabinho was doing in that Napoli game, but he should have PTSD for that game for the rest of his life. He was absolutely all over the shop.
Liverpool have just not reached their
Newcastle's back triangle. There's not. What I'm saying is, last year our triangle of 3 with Maguire, Lindelof, and Fred and McTominay was one of the worst in the top 15 teams in the league. It's now one of the very best, and that obviously we've got attacking pieces that we need to make moves in the attacking third. But really, when you're looking at it now, the base has been created, and we have real opportunity in the next couple of years to do something special with Ten Hag. And, I hope Ronaldo gets on board and joins the party. If not, I hope it's amicable the way he leaves. But I'm fully believing in what Ten Hag's doing to the team and the way he's conducting his business.
I think, from our point of view, we back the manager. We like what we're seeing. You know, he comes across an intelligent guy who studies the game. And I've seen some of the things that he's done in games and the way he set us up. That's just clever, really. It's tactical. However, I'm going to say this, that City absolutely battered us, and that could have been 10-0. I know it was 6-3, but it could have been 10-0, and that was worrying because we know how City play, and we just weren't able to stifle them. Once a team goes 2-0 up against you, you should be able to just close the shop down.
For 5 to 10 years, that philosophy that they're playing, what City should be to you should be a little bit of an eye-opener as to what United could be in 5 to 10 years if they're all playing and understanding the philosophical rules, where everyone knows the duty and the job, everyone's in sync, and they turn up for a big game. He's pumped them up, Pep, before that game, and they've come out and they've delivered. But ultimately, City have some of their own questions defensively. It's not the strongest defence. Yeah, they could win the Champions League this year, but in terms of are they going to be uncatchable over the next few years, I think Ten Hag's got it in his locker to chase down anybody the way he's the way he's built, the way he's setting up. Obviously, time will tell, but I'm very confident that in the end, after a hard Ragnick period, we did get the right man, and this guy looks the real deal.
Yeah, agreed.
But anyway, look, ending on Italy on a positive note. Our B team beating England's A team. You know, I was saying to my
can I just say that I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
I was saying to my colleagues at work, I was like,
Chino canta inglese, hey.
I was saying to some of my colleagues, I was saying that Italy have lost one competitive game in like 30 years at home. We're not going to lose to England. No chance. And then I saw the team. Don't forget, we've lost 5-2 to Germany. They'd lost 4-0 to Hungary. And then I saw the team before the build-up, and I was a bit worried. I've got to be honest.
It's just probably one of the worst.
No, we had
Italy sides I can remember.
Well, we had Toloi. You're not a big fan of him, but I like what Toloi's bringing to the table, and he had a good game that game. Let's be honest. Bonucci was in there. Played his payload pass to Raspadori for the match winner. Awesome, Bonucci. Acerbi in there. We can probably think of 5 better centre-backs than him in the Italian national team. Di Lorenzo in the 5.
He's just been consistent.
So really, Mancini's switched to a 3-5-2 to kind of counter what what England had done in the European Cup final. Barella, Jorginho, Cristante. So in that midfield, you've got Barella, really. He's the one guy. DiMarco on the left.
I thought he did really well.
He has done, but really coming into that game, we've got Barella that we're like, but there's no Verratti, there's no Pellegrini. You know, you don't have that Spinazzola. Yeah, no Zaniolo. And then up front, you've got Scamacca and Raspadori. You've got West Ham's sub forward, and you've got Napoli's sub forward. Both up top.
Scamacca, though, looks like he could be a player.
Well,
I've been watching him. He does look like he's got something.
On the day, they all look like they could be players. But really, we're going into that game, and the one guy of requisite quality, well, you could argue Bonucci and Donnarumma, but the one guy that I'm thinking is top class in this game for Italy is Barella. And if we're going to do anything, it's going to come from them. On the other side of the fence, you've got Harry Kane, yeah? One of the top 5 strikers in the world. It'd be reasonable to say. Sterling, he's just had an excellent Euros, moved to Chelsea, still looks decent, but on the whole of it, it's one of England's main attacking threats.
Italy looked far superior than it.
Let me finish. Saka,
England looked far superior than Italy on paper, but
Saka had a great season with Arsenal to date. Foden, probably England's most talented player at the moment. Rice, Bellingham, their dream midfield. They've got Maguire, Dyer, James Walker, Pope. They're the keeper maybe, but basically they come out there with a full team.
We man marked them. We went man to man all over the pitch, and they couldn't deal with us.
Tactically, we were just better than them, weren't we?
Yeah,
and
England can't pass the ball from the back.
The thing is,
against high intensity
in the final, I felt like Southgate had a tactical heads up on Mancini to a point where they got the goal with the system and Italy struggled to break them down. I just think it was down to our quality of Verratti and quality and personality of the team that was able to grind out that win. Not necessarily Mancini's tactical nous. In this game, Mancini, with half a team, has used his tactical nous to totally dominate the game, where Raspadori can get a ball, miss it, and then next minute, he's getting the ball, and because the chances are coming, he then puts it in the top corner a la Del Piero.
It was a great touch, great finish. Yeah, I loved everything about it.
And so that relegated England, which will affect their rankings, which we know can have a massive knock-on effect.
We're still going to have some further games against England because we've now drawn them, haven't we, in the
Euro qualifiers.
So they'll be great games to watch, and we'll have to try and get over to Italy to watch the.
I'm just thinking the next one is on the 23rd of March. That's the one in Italy. I don't think a venue's become available there, but
I'd like to watch that in Rome. That'd be nice. See Vito.
Right, be like Grand Vito. But yeah, no, I'm thinking in that game there, that's a real opportunity there to bounce back after watching the World Cup from the sidelines. And I would imagine that England are probably going to have a new manager at that juncture.
Yeah, I don't even want to get you excited, but there has been reports about Iran being expelled, and if they get expelled, there could be a possibility of Italy being allowed.
Italy are the highest ranked team, but they could also.
I can't see it happening myself, but I must admit I am getting a little bit excited when I read about it.
Here's the thing. The thing is that you've got, if Iran get expelled, which they could well get expelled for their part in the war with Russia, who are already expelled, amongst other things, apart from the way they treat and discriminate against women and other people in their culture, how it filters into football. It's a joke, but if they did expel them, they're likely to go for another Asian team. But in their rules, it does state in FIFA's rules that the highest ranked team in Italy, at least to put themselves in that position if it does come. I mean, this notion that, Italy don't deserve to be there because they don't qualify. On one hand, that's right. On the other hand, Italy have more than been an excellent team for world football in the last absolutely got to the third in the Nations League. We're in the Nations League final four. Not only that though, we've played some good football. Yeah, we've had and we've done it without strikers, without goal scorers. Mancini has been well batting above his average. And Willy Gnonto, we went to Hungary. This is Hungarian guy I work with. So after obviously the English, relegated. So we're playing Hungary, and I said to him, game enjoy. He said to me, see, he stood next to me, he goes, with a smile, real subtle. He's the one who gave me that Italian badge, for the back of the Macina. And I was like, yeah, grazie. I was like, yeah, it should be a good game. But at the end of the day, you only need to draw, so you have a chance. You have a good chance. And he goes, we will win with a smile. I said, hang about, what did you say? He goes, we will win. He goes, we have a full big stadium. There's a lot of enthusiasm. I said, listen, fella, let's slow down a second. Why you've done good, is because you've been humble. Yeah, you kept your head down there. You've bunkered in it with a team mentality, and you've achieved good things playing at a good level, and you've done well with an Italian coach, right? But Italy don't get scared when we go to Germany to play in Germany for a World Cup. We don't get scared when we play Holland in Holland or Belgium in Belgium or England in England. The mentality is there, right? We just played England with half a team and beat them, a good England team. Yeah, it might have been at home, but we have the ability to play it away. We're going to dominate possession, and as long as someone can find a goal from somewhere, we're going to beat you. So let's just not get over carried away. And then what happened? Willy Gnonto closes down his guy for Raspadori to get a tap in. DiMarco cashing in again, looking excellent on the left-hand side, giving us a nice viable option for Spinazzola when he's missing. And he's a left footer where Spinazzola does like to cut in. So I like that little dynamic being created there. But so yeah, obviously that was buzzing. That we're in there's a little final four. Yeah, there's no World Cup, but let's see. I'm open for all trophies. I don't care if it's the Nations League. I'll take it. Tournois don't count, but I'll take a Nations League. But Willy Gnonto, it's gone to Leeds. It's had a minute. The other week they were saying that he was in the under-21s. They've lost every game as well. They put him in the under-21s. People are saying he wasn't that impressive. I've watched Willy Gnonto. He chases people down. He closes people down. You know, he's a bit enthusiastic. But you know, all you need to do is give him a bit of game time. The guy's going to work hard. He's going to press. And he's going to pick out his teammates, beat players, and score goals. Willy Gnonto has been given an opportunity at the highest level, and so far he's shown that he's up to it. I so for Leeds to not give him a game,
but hold on, I think it's different when he's playing for Italy. He's with players that he knows. He's with players that he's played with before, and he's going in there playing for his country and absolutely giving 100%. I think with Leeds, I don't think it's a case of they're not playing him because he's not good enough. I just think he's still adapting to the culture.
Oh, so he's not a minute.
Yeah, a chance. No, I still think he's adapting to the culture in that. I think he's still got things to do at Leeds, but I think it's just going to take him time to get into that team.
Well, listen, if Leeds can't find a seat for Gnonto, who's playing...
Leeds have got a very strong under 23 academy as well. Got a lot of young players coming into the team.
Listen, they're losing every week. Italy, starting Gnonto ahead of Scamacca is what helped us beat Hungary. Because against England, although Scamacca does look like a player,
listen,
you can introduce people.
I like him, but I'm not hyping him up.
No, but what Gnonto's bringing to the table with this high press and this aggressivity in his play.
If Leeds don't want to play him, and Italy do, then
they need to get rid of him.
Well, that just shows that just shows the difference.
They need to sort themselves out. Do you know what
he's doing? But
I don't like Italian players coming to some of these clubs that don't know how to treat players.
But you don't know, Jack, because we don't know all the ins and outs of it. What we do know is that this guy's still being picked for Italy, so he's obviously still doing something right. Whether it's he's training right at Leeds, but he's got to adapt. He's got to adapt to the culture.
You've got to give people an opportunity. You can't say he didn't do it in training. There's been plenty of people that don't turn up to training, and on game day,
he's a young lad, and because he's a good young lad who plays for his country, you're thinking to yourself, he should be starting for Leeds. That's what you're thinking. I'm thinking that Leeds have probably looked at it and thought, he's definitely a guy with the quality to come into our first 11 and make us better. Otherwise, he wouldn't have signed him. But he's going to take time adapting. He probably doesn't speak English. You know, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but he's probably not adapted yet, which some players don't do straight away. Anthony's hit the ground running, but for almost 100 million, you'd expect that. You know, this is the difference. This is what we're talking about. But I think he's definitely one to watch for the future. And I loved what he's done for Italy. I think he gives us an energy, and I think that's what you're talking about.
The thing is, whether he starts, because he's shown it when he started, he's shown it when he's come off the bench. For him not to get a minute right now is ludicrous, because he's come from Italy playing at high level against England, Germany, Hungary, and whether he's come off the bench and set up a goal on his debut, whether he started the game and pressed teams into mistakes, this guy is showing you he's got the enthusiasm to make an impact. Whether his quality's there or not, his overall game makes an impact. And Leeds not even putting him on the bench the other day, but he's not had a minute so far. If you're not going to play him, give him back to Zurich or sell him on, because quite frankly, I don't need any clubs hurting Italian attacking talent, because there's already a limited nature. But what I did want to say is, just to wrap up on this, I think Italian football is coming back to a high level. I think obviously the Euros and the World Cup shows you two sides, not quite there, but can reach a high level. But the big thing is the big clubs doing well. AC Milan doing well. Inter Milan winning a title back with Conte. Napoli now looking like one of the best teams in Europe so far. Kvaratskhelia along with Osimhen. They've got rid of Ruiz. They got rid of Koulibaly, and the guys that are coming in there have been even better. Insigne's gone, but Kvaratskhelia looks even better than him. You know, he's playing. Forgive me, they all say call him Cavadonna, call him the next Maradona guy. But for me, I'm seeing Baggio similarities in dribbling. I don't put that out lightly. The dribbling nature. I'm talking about young Fiorentina Baggio, minus the injuries, obviously, also minus the set pieces. But this guy has been one of the most interesting things I've watched this season. It's been fantastic. Napoli, again, winning against Roma. Another great Victor Osimhen goal. Against Liverpool, when they ripped him apart, Osimhen got injured and Raspadori's picked up the baton. They've been absolutely cleaning house with everyone. Now Osimhen's back and he's 2-2. He's delivering the goods again. They look strong. Milan look strong. Apart from the little Chelsea wobbles, they still look good overall. Inter look like they're going to be decent. Juventus, where are you with Juventus?
No, I mean,
crumbling, but the pieces are in place. I just think Max Allegri probably needs to get sacked.
When we talk about Italian football, for me the most important thing was keeping Mancini in the national team.
Yeah.
Yes, there are teams in Serie A that are doing well. Napoli, for example.
The competition's good, and it's nice. It's bubbly.
But for Italy, for me, my concerns is not Serie A. It's the national team. And for me, they need to get a striker. There's a couple of strikers that look like they can do something, but they're still not there yet. And Mancini just needs to find us that striker.
But right now, I think Raspadori is. I mean, and with Napoli as well, not just with Italy when he's been playing the 2 goals in the last 2 games, but this guy is now showing that he looks like he's ready for the mantle, you know, to step in there. He scored 2 against Turkey. He scored against England. He scored against Hungary. No, but I'm just saying, you look at it. What's he got 4 in his last 3? Yeah, you need to be playing week in, week out for your club team to be playing internationally. But Raspadori right now, I'd rather see him ahead of Immobile. If you put Chiesa in there and then you put Pellegrini in there with Verratti, Barella and Jorginho,
I'm just not sure.
Now that looks excellent.
For me, I'm not sold on him yet. There's still a question mark there. Did I enjoy his goal against England? Yes. Do I like him as a player? Yes. Do I think that he should be starting for Italy up front as our main striker or main centre forward? I'm not sure.
Do you know what though? You're not sure about Sandro Tonali, and Tonali keeps showing me week in, week out that he's absolute quality and that he's in the mix. I know we have elite midfielders, but he adds to us having elite midfielders, and he helped Milan get over the line last year.
He's not going to play instead of Verratti. He's not going to play instead of Barella, and he's not going to play instead of Jorginho. Them 3 in tandem can do the job. And then you've got Pellegrini, you've got Zaniolo, you've got other players there that can
Tonali right now, Tonali is just behind Barella, but he's making a difference. Well, listen, Barella is behind Barella, but Tonali's making a difference, scoring another big goal the other day to get them over the line. Scored big goals last season because they've had injuries, and he stepped up at the end of last season, helped them win the Serie A. For me, he wasn't just a part of the squad. He was a key member. He weren't Leao important, but he was a key member of that squad. And I like him, Tonali.
I think he'll probably make
Sandro Tonali.
I think he'll probably make the Italian squad, but you know, does he go into the first 11 right now? No, he doesn't for me. But That's just my opinion.
No, but
I think
is he above Locatelli?
Listen, I think Italian football's in a good place. I think Italian football's in a good place. Mancini's
Let me just ask you what you Tonali or Locatelli?
I don't know. That's subjective.
Right.
What you're trying to get me to say is Tonali. No, what you're trying to get me to say is Tonali. It doesn't matter. Even if Tonali,
I do like Locatelli.
No, even if I selected Tonali above Locatelli, Locatelli doesn't make the first 11. So therefore, Tonali doesn't make the first 11.
No, agreed.
He doesn't go into our midfield right now. He doesn't. He's not better. He's not better than Verratti. He's just another good option to have in the squad.
Yeah.
But he's doing the best thing Tonali can do is get his head down and keep performing well consistently for Milan. And eventually he'll get his chance in the Italy shirt, and then he's got to take it. But he's definitely part of the squad. And under Mancini, whoever comes in has done a good job for us. So I'm happy. I think it's good to be back. Another Coyle's Calcio Corner. I think we've covered everything that we wanted to cover.
Episode number 11. Becks over Giggs.
A lot of controversies.
Cantona over Ronaldo.
You've had the Ronaldo shouts. It's all been happening. But yeah, no, it's just good to
relegating England.
It's just good to be back, and we'll
relegating England.
Yeah. And it's just good to be back though, and hopefully we can return soon. But yeah, no, I've enjoyed it.
Right. Thanks very much for tuning in, guys.
Episode 11.
Look forward to seeing you for episode 12.